Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into a question that I know is on the mind of pretty much anyone looking at precious metals. When is the right time to buy silver? We're going to break it all down and build a solid strategy together.
This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the first thing everyone wants to know. They're looking for that magic date on the calendar, a specific price point to jump in. But the truth is, it's a bit more nuanced than that, and honestly, a lot more empowering once you get it.
So here's the key idea we're going to unpack. The best time to buy isn't some fixed point in time. Nope. It's when a whole bunch of different factors all start pointing in the same direction. So our goal today isn't to give you a date, it's to give you the framework to see that alignment for yourself.
And here's our game plan. First, we're going to decode the big picture economic climate. Then, we'll follow some historical footprints to see what the past can teach us. After that, we'll dip into reading the technical signs from the market itself. And finally, we'll bring it all together so you can build your own personal strategy. Ready? Let's go.
All right, first up, let's talk about the macro movers. These are the huge, powerful economic forces that really create the weather, so to speak, in the silver market, the environment where silver can either really shine or kind of struggle.
The first big one is, of course, inflation. Put simply, it's when your money just doesn't buy as much as it used to. And when that happens, people historically start looking for a safe harbor. They turn to hard assets like silver to protect their wealth, and that can really drive up demand and the price.
Now, on the flip side of that coin, you've got interest rates. See, silver's amazing, but it doesn't pay you interest just to hold it. So when interest rates are high, you could be earning a pretty decent, safe return from something simple like a bond. And that creates what economists call an opportunity cost for holding silver instead.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. In a high-rate world, that opportunity cost is real. Why hold a non-yielding asset when you can get paid elsewhere? But in a low-rate environment, that opportunity cost basically disappears, which can make silver a much more attractive place to be.
So, if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of this stuff, these are the reports to watch. The CPI is your inflation gauge, central bank decisions tell you where interest rates are headed, and GDP and unemployment, well, they give you a report card on the overall health of the economy.
Okay, let's add the next tool to our kit. We've looked at the current climate, now let's look back in time. Because while history never repeats itself exactly, it often rhymes, and it can give us some absolutely incredible context.
And one of the most classic tools for this is the gold to silver ratio. It's a really simple concept. How many ounces of silver does it take to buy just 1 ounce of gold? This little number is a fantastic way to see how silver is being valued compared to gold at any given moment.
So just as an example, let's say the ratio right now is sitting around 85 to 1. That means you'd need 85 ounces of silver to get your hands on 1 ounce of gold. But is that high? Is it low? Well, that's where looking at the past comes in handy.
Historically, when this ratio gets really stretched out, we're talking over 90, it's often been a signal that silver might be undervalued or cheap compared to gold. And on the flip side, when that ratio gets really tight, say below 40, it can suggest silver is getting a bit expensive. It's like a historical barometer for relative value.
And here's another fascinating historical layer, seasonality. Now, these aren't rules set in stone, but you can see these patterns. Why do they happen? Well, you could argue that the stronger performance in Q4 and Q1 might be tied to things like holiday jewelry demand. And that slight dip in Q3? Maybe that's the summer slowdown in industrial activity. It's just another piece of the puzzle to keep in mind.
So, we've looked at the big economic picture, we've looked at history. Now let's zoom in and add our third tool. Let's look at what the market itself is doing right now through what's called technical analysis.
And hey, don't let that fancy name scare you off. All technical analysis really is, at its heart, is looking at a price chart to try and understand the psychology of the market. Is the overall mood optimistic? Is it pessimistic? The chart tells a story.
And one of the most fundamental tools for this is the simple moving average. All it does is take the average price over a certain number of days, like 50 or 200. And what's so powerful about that is it smooths out all the chaotic day-to-day price swings so you can see the real underlying trend more clearly.
Okay, now check this out, because this is a classic signal traders look for. When a faster short-term average, like the 50-day, crosses up and over a slower long-term one, like the 200-day, that's called a golden cross. It can be a really powerful sign that momentum is shifting to the upside. And the opposite is true too. When that short-term line dips below the long-term one, that's a death cross, and it could be a warning that the trend is weakening. It's all about spotting these potential shifts in momentum.
Okay, we have our 3 key tools in the toolbox: economic analysis, historical context, and technical signals. Now for the most important part. This is where you stop just learning and you start building. It's about weaving all this information together into a strategy that actually works for you.
Because let's be totally honest with each other. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can perfectly time the absolute bottom of a market every single time. It's just not possible. And trying to do that will just drive you crazy. The real win isn't perfect timing. It's having a consistent, informed plan that you can stick to even when things get volatile.
And this right here, this is your pre-purchase checklist. Instead of just guessing, you actually run through the questions. What's the economic climate telling me? Is silver looking cheap compared to gold right now? Are there any seasonal winds at my back? What's the chart's momentum looking like? And then, the biggest question of all, how does this move actually fit with my own personal goals and my own timeline?
This quote just nails it. It really gets to the heart of everything we've talked about. It's a huge mindset shift, right? You stop asking, when should I buy? And you start asking, what is my process for buying? That is the move that turns a speculator into a true strategist.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are you going to keep chasing the ghost of the perfect time, or are you going to start putting your energy into building a perfect strategy for you? Because that is something you can control, and that's where the real power is.